Gary, you say, when you look at regular season, the tournament isn't a direct reflection of how good teams are. But again, for the Big Ten, I mean, it's maybe not like last year when we thought there were so many top flight teams in the Big Ten and it was a bad showing in the first weekend, but only 2 of the 9 teams that made the tournament are still alive, Purdue and Michigan. And this is not just a trend of the last few seasons. They haven't won an overall title since Y2K. So when you look at this, is it different for the Big Ten given that they haven't done it in 20 years?
I'm going to be consistent and say no. I just think it's the nature of the tournament. But like, if somebody wanted to argue with me, you've got a lot of data to work with. Chris, you know this league as well as anybody. It is wildly disappointing to be in this situation again. Over the past 2 NCAA tournaments, the Big Ten has gotten 18 teams in, and just 3 of those 18 teams have advanced to at least the Sweet 16. Michigan last season, Michigan this season, and Purdue. And when you highlight that and combine it with the fact, like you said, since Michigan State won the title in 2000, the Big Ten has not won a title. It is certainly a big bullet point narrative that gets connected to the league fairly or unfairly. So let's assume that you do think there's something inherently wrong with Big Ten teams when they get into this tournament. What is it? Most people would point to perhaps, a lack of athleticism, at certain positions relative to, other leagues like the SEC. But then you look at the SEC, and they had 6 teams in this tournament. 5 of them are already gone. Arkansas is the only one that remains. They had 2 seeds, both gone. A 3 seed, both gone. So you can't really point to a lack of athleticism to try to explain the Big Ten's demise in this event, because the SEC is arguably the most athletic basketball conference in America, and they struggled in this thing as well. I think what I would bottom line all this with is that it's the nature of a single elimination tournament with 40-minute games. Some wildly unfortunate things happen to good teams every year. And yes, they seem to happen to the Big Ten teams a little more often than most.
Boy, if you think that like the Big Ten league office is a little upset about this, I think that the passion and the real fury exists on that next level down. I think it's at Illinois where you're just banging your head against the wall that you haven't even made it to the Sweet 16 since 2005. I think it's existing at Ohio State where you love what Chris Holtmann has been able to do during the regular season, but we have not yet seen that deep run in the NCAA tournament. I mean, Chris, it's at Iowa where you are yet again looking at a team that was ranking as one of the best offenses in the entire country, and yet again you are looking at an early exit from the NCAA tournament. And it is all of these individual places where it is, yes, frustration for the Big Ten in general, but all of these fan bases are looking at their own basketball program. They're looking at their head coach, and they are not necessarily, saying, do we have the right guy? But they are growing more and more frustrated with this disconnect. So it is a Big Ten-wide trend. But, I mean, Michigan State didn't make it to the Sweet 16, and no Spartans fans are wondering why Tom Izzo can't get it done. Michigan was able to get in here. Purdue's happy to be in the Sweet 16. There are representatives from the conference that I think are ducking this narrative. But, from Greg Gard at Wisconsin, Fran McCaffrey at Iowa, Chris Holtmann at Ohio State, Brad Underwood at Illinois, I look at it as more of there is a collection of schools where the regular season success is not represented in the NCAA tournament. And if you compare them to the entire country, those might be the schools, but they just all happen to exist in the Big Ten.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.